So the reason why it's so important to have more Indigenous lawyers is because there are so many Indigenous people in the justice system. And I think quite often they feel a bit distrustful, a bit like they're not understood. And how can they be when their life experience is so far gone from somebody who grew up in a conventional or an urban community might have experienced. And I've seen a lot of well-meaning people who understand the goal and understand that they need to be an ally, but that simply because their life experience is different, don't really get what it's like for people growing up, say, on reserve. And I didn't grow up on reserve either. I'm just somebody who gets that difference a little bit better. I didn't get into the law until later in life. I got a degree in philosophy when I was in my 30s, started a family. I worked in drywall for 15 years, actually, and would probably still be doing that today, except my wife came to me and said, "Weren't you going to take the law school entrance exam?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll try it." When I was going through law school, COVID happened, and a lot of the courtrooms were shut down. When I was applying for summer positions, Legal Aid took me on, and they were one of the few organizations that had really anything to do in the courtrooms because the criminal dockets still need to run and the family dockets as well. So I actually spent most of my time acting as, student duty counsel, working my way through the dockets, and I found that I loved it. Always being in court was something that really excited me. You got to meet so many people, and one thing that really impressed me and that I try to tell people about all the time is that I found there's really not a lot of truly bad people out there. There's a lot of people that are in dire straits, but for a good reason, and they often just need some help. For Indigenous people themselves, the justice system is something quite often for them to fear, to try to escape from, to avoid, which can often make their situation much worse. They see how it affects them and the people around them, and so they tend to try and get away. But that can lead to warrants and a harder time getting out and so forth. That's one of the reasons why it's so important that building trust in these communities is key to breaking this cycle. Coming into the law later in life, also coming into my Indigenous identity as an adult, I have a Métis background. On my dad's side, the Indigenous side is Ojibwe from a band called Ebb and Flow in Manitoba. Because my dad was a foster child, we were disconnected from those roots. I grew into that all at once, and it's been a real eye-opening experience, as I find that that sense of loss, of disconnection to your family and community is actually something a lot of Indigenous people share. And I've been able to step into a role that I really appreciate the opportunity to fulfill, where I can really help people. I can make a difference in a lot of different people's lives, and also fulfill what is a severe need in the justice system, which is we need more Indigenous lawyers. Frankly, there's just not enough of us. So anybody that I see, that I meet that's thinking of doing this, I tell them, go for it. If I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing magic about it. So it's just like anything else, one day at a time. I feel like because I come from a humble background, I can better understand many of the people that I represent daily in court. When I was a drywaller, life was hard. We struggled. And I can relate to many of the people that I work with on that level. Many of them have, day-to-day jobs, or they just fell out of work, or they're trying to raise a family. And that kind of stress that can put on a person can easily lead you down the wrong path. I think I was lucky to make the right choices, to have good support around me. And I think that not for those circumstances, things might have gone very differently for me. So I approach the job with a lot of humility, and I think that people appreciate that. And that helps them open up a little bit. I think in some cases, because of that, they get better results in court. They share more, we understand each other better, and I'm able then to represent them better to the court. The more that I can help people who have been accused to realize as well that they are not bad people, I think that can help give them hope going forward. It can reduce the rate of their possible recidivism. It can change the course of not only their lives, but of their families as well. And while I can't hope to have that kind of effect on everybody that I interact with, I know that I have in some cases. And I meet so many people and I get the chance to just say a few words to them that maybe they've never heard before, or never had somebody talk to them like that before. And so that I find to be a great opportunity.